everybody, and welcome to this webinar, which, as you can see on the screen, what applicants can expect during a judging visit. This is the second of two webinars we've been running this year, just to help people understand what our judges are going to ask for on the day. And I'm delighted that I've got Lorraine Nichols is here with me, who some of you will maybe have dealt with Lorraine when you're placing your application. And I've also got Chris Warman and Jane Calvert, who are two of our really experienced Green Flag Award judges, who are going to tell you firsthand what a judging visit is like. There is an opportunity, obviously, at the end to ask any questions, or you might want to ask questions. We might pick some of them up during the session. So please, if you have any questions, just pop those into the chat, and we'll pick those up either during the session at the end. If we run out of time, what we're doing is we're collating all the questions from both sessions. We're going to get answers to all those questions, and then we'll share all the answers with everybody who's on this call. Okay, so all right, I'm just trying to get my slides to move on, and for some reason they have frozen, so just bear with me a minute. I might stop sharing and share again. And hopefully you can see that now. Okay, so the agenda for today is Lorraine's just going to give you a quick update on really what's happened to your application since you made them, up to the day, what will happen up to the day of the judging visit. Then I'm going to hand over to Chris and I'm going to hand over to Jane, who are going to talk you through what happens on a judging visit. Then we'll summarise with some of the key points from that judging visit. Then we'll look at what happens after judging. So you've had your judging day, your judges have been, hopefully you've had a great day, you'll have received your result, hopefully you're successful, and then I'll talk you through really what happens, what the process is following your judging visit. And then obviously at the end, as I've explained, again, we'll have a quick Q&A at the end of the session. So I'm going to hand over to Lorraine, who's going to tell you really what's happened with your application since you made it.
Okay, thanks, Paul. Good afternoon, everyone. So I'll very quickly talk you through this process. So you send your application in and we review all the applications. There are a couple of things that we need to check, and I'll go through those with you in a second. So as you know, the application window opens in November and closes at the end of January. And during this time, we are approving all of the applications as they come through. Can you just make sure there's a couple of points? So things like the postal address for the flag, please make sure that it is actually a postal address. We do get some applications come in with, for example, Central Park, St. Helens, and unless there's a ranger's hut or an office or something, that your flag will not arrive with you. Make sure that the map pin is correct, because this is what will show on our publicity page once you've been awarded once you've got the award. The publicity section and the map pin will all be open to the public, so make sure that's correct so people can come and visit you. As I mentioned, the publicity information, at any time you can click onto I think it's edit publicity information tab on your portal. If you update information in there, it will automatically update in your application form. So if you want to put new photographs of an event that's gone on, or you want to update any information at all, you can access that at any time throughout the year. It's really important that you include 2 contacts. We need and if you can make sure that there are different contact telephone numbers and email addresses, just makes it much smoother for our judges to contact you, for us to contact you if there's an issue. Don't just duplicate the first contact. That will be really helpful. We also check that your management plan covers the current year. You only need a management plan when your site is being fully judged. So for a mystery shop year, you don't need to upload another or a more up-to-date management plan, I should say. For community applications, regardless of what year you are on, you need to make sure that you've included an updated insurance policy or certificate. We need the lease agreement to be up to date, obviously, and it's also really important that you put your site map upload your site map so that the judges know exactly which part of the park. A lot of community sites are part of a larger park, so if you could clearly show the judges which elements of that or which areas the judge is going to be visiting, that would be fabulous. And also the opening times are really useful, especially for community sites which tend to have opening and closing times. So once we've reviewed your applications, we move on to approve them. So once we've approved them, you'll receive a notification of the type of judging, whether it's going to be a mystery shop or a full judging. Obviously, each year it alternates. If the first year you come into the scheme, your site will be fully judged, and the following year it will be mystery shopped, as long as you meet the criteria and you pass the first year. And as long as you pass, it will alternate each year. That's the current judging model. If you do receive an email and you feel that if we accidentally send it and it says that you're on a full judging, but you know that you're on a full judging last year and you passed, please let us know as soon as possible. We'll just adjust our system. And the invoices are raised manually around the end of January. So obviously, if you only send your application in to us on the very last day of January, then it will be a little bit later. And on that note, although the window opens between November and closes at the end of January, please don't take that as its permission just to send it in on the last day. The sooner you send your application in to us, the better it is for us, to be honest, because we're going to be approving over 1,800 sites. So the sooner you send it in, if there's an issue, we can come back to you, we can address it before the application window closes, and it will be very, very helpful to us if you could do that, please. So once the applications have come in, they've been approved, we then move on to the allocating the judges. Now, there are around about 800 sites that are fully judged every year, and we manually allocate the judges. So just bear with us. I'll just talk you through the judging models, actually. So community sites, whether they're new or existing sites or sites that failed last year, community sites will always have one judge. All other sites have one judge, apart from a couple of exceptions, which I'll go through with you now, a few exceptions. So new sites for 2026, if you've missed a year, you'll be considered as a new site for judging purposes. So new sites will receive 2 judges. Sites that failed the previous year will also receive 2 judges, and Green Flag Award sites that are over 25 hectares will have 2 judges, and Green Heritage sites will always have at least 1 judge who is heritage trained. We try our best to send 2 judges, but obviously, we're spread over a very large space, and we've not got as many judges. We'd love to have spare judges in every area, but unfortunately we don't. But you will always have 1 judge that is heritage trained. And I think applicants, you hopefully your judges will start getting in touch with you quite soon. So if you could be as flexible as possible with the dates for the judges to come. We know you all want your sites to be, in bloom, looking gorgeous, but our judges are trained professionals in the field. So, they know that, not everything's going to be looking beautiful and colourful and gorgeous. But as long as you're managing your sites, then that's what they're going to be judging on. So if you can, the earlier you can arrange a date for your judges to come and visit, the better for all round, because the judges have got to write your reports and get them into us. And we ask that all the visits and the reports are submitted to us by the end of May. So if you can help us out with that, we'd really appreciate it. So I think that's all for me at the moment. So I'm going to pass you back over to Paul. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Lorraine. And as Lorraine said, with the information such as the personal details and the publicity information, that's information you can go onto at any time of the year and update the portal to show the public, and also to show if contact details have changed. And it's a great idea actually to change some of those photographs throughout the year. If you've got some nice events going on at the park, please upload some of those photographs to show people some of the great things that are happening in your parks and green spaces. And of course, as Lorraine said, we are always looking for judges. So if you're interested in becoming a Green Flag Award judge, simply go to the website and go to the Become a Judge section, or just Google Green Flag Award Become a Judge, and it'll take you to that page. Upload your details and a copy of your CV so we can look at your experience. And then if you're successful, you'll be invited onto our training program, which is a 4-module program. 3 modules take place online, so they can be fitted in when it's most convenient for you. And there is some homework to complete as well. And then the final module, which is on site, which is where you'll be taken out to a Green Flag Award site, and you'll be asked to demonstrate the skills that you've learned. And of course, every judge that's new for the very first year will, at least for the first year, be mentored by one of our experienced judges. So we have a program in there. It is Lantra accredited now, so you will receive your certificate, which is endorsed by Lantra as well, by their training department. So if you are interested, we would really welcome more judges. So please, please apply. Okay, going to move on then and look at the judging visit. I'm delighted that Chris Warman and Jane Calvert have joined me, and hopefully if Jane's microphone, we've got Jane's microphone to work, she will be there. And as you'll see, there's those of you who know Chris is there in his suit in the middle, and standing to his right is Jane Calvert carrying out a judging visit. And just to say, you don't need to provide them with an ice cream on a judging visit, but yes, they do. Particularly Chris is very partial to an ice cream. So I'm going to hand over to Chris and Jane now, who can talk you through exactly what happens on the judging day.
So can I just say, I'm really sorry. I am trying my best to get Jane in on the conversation. So bear with me.
Okay.
Yeah, well, what's that Gremlins in? Because my camera's also stopped working, as has Lorraine. So I don't really want to leave that slide up of me and Jane until Jane can get in, just so people know who they're talking to. Otherwise, it's that picture of me hugging a bee that'll be on screen, possibly.
Well, I think, Chris, that's quite interesting.
Yes, so for some reason my camera's also stopped working. So whatever's in Lorraine's Gremlins is also in my camera. So yeah. Apologies. I'll kick off while I wait for Jane to join us, as Jane may have camera but no mic. I think the first. Oh,
I think,
okay,
yeah,
Jane.
Yeah.
Go on, Jane. Off you go.
Well, it's unfortunate Chris isn't there now. Maybe he's just having an ice cream and he doesn't want everyone to know.
Now there's a thought.
He's rather partial. Welcome everyone, and thanks for coming along this afternoon to find out a bit more about what your judging visit will entail, and hopefully Chris and I will chat through everything that you need to know. But like Paul said, if you've got anything else you want to ask, pop it in the chat. We'll try and answer it as we go along. If not, we'll try and answer stuff at the end. We made time for questions then. But where do we start? So it starts by the lovely folks in the Green Flag office allocating sites to us, and we accept those sites to say yes, we'd be love to go and judge. And then there's a bit of work goes in before we actually come out onto site. So we're going to look at the documents that you've submitted if you're on a full judging year. We're going to review your management plan, have a look at that. We're going to make notes because there's a desktop study first before we do the field sort of marking, and when we come to visit. We're going to look at any social media channels that you use or your friends or group use. And we're going to look if you're a local authority or an organisation, you usually have a website. So we're going to have a look at that to see how you promote yourselves or promote any events, or if you have volunteers, how volunteers can join. And we're also going to sort of, once we've done that, we're going to reach out to you to try and arrange a visit. The length of the visit depends on the type and the size of your site, really. It could be a full day, it could be a morning or an afternoon. We'll spend as much time with you as we need to get the best out of your site. If there are anything that we want to see beforehand, there might be some extra documents we ask for, and we hopefully will read those before. If not, they should be available on the day, and then we'll set a date, we'll arrive, and we'll agree where we're going to meet, and hopefully we'll share some contact details. Mobile numbers are great, because if we're coming on the train or driving over traffic, or well, the railway network, sometimes there are delays, and so we might need to say we're running late, or you might need to change the meeting location that we've agreed. So on the day, Chris, are you going to tell us what happens on the day?
I will indeed. So we're coming, and we don't ask for anything special. I think that's the key thing to make clear. We're not judging the Britain in bloom, so don't put pots of pansies out just for us and things like that. We're actually looking for the appropriate activities for the time of year we're judging. However, I will just say we are coming, and you know we're coming. So don't fall down the basics. Don't meet us surrounded by litter and dog fouling, or in a burnt out building. There are some basics there just to think about. And just think about the day and plan out that day on how best to show off your space. So start thinking about a route around the park, depending on the size of the park or green space. How are we going to get around there? Are we walking around? Do we need a golf buggy, or a horse and cart, or whatever? Just think of that. So if you plan that out, my biggest recommendation is think about that before we get there. Plan it out. Have a dummy run, because I'll guarantee you, if you say it takes an hour to walk around the park, that'll double straight away on a judging visit. I'll also think about who you want us to meet. In terms of walking around, I would suggest it's just 1 or 2 people walking with the judge. But if there are other key people you want us to talk to and meet, just think where they could be on the day, and that could be at key locations, or it could be over a cup of tea or over lunch, where we could talk to people like the friends groups or counsellors. If there's too many of us walking around, we sort of lose conversations. And what we want to do is capture everything you're telling us, to give you the best chance of either gaining the green flag or getting really good feedback, so you can improve the following year. We are human beings. Things sometimes do go wrong. Please don't panic. We're all working in the green space sector, so things do go wrong sometimes. And I've judged in all sorts of different weather conditions. I'm afraid if it rains, we all get wet. But equally, if it's really hot, just think about comfort breaks, water for the judges. You don't see me and Jane walking around a site on our knees. You really don't. So think about just having a couple of comfort breaks, just to cool down if it's really hot. Again, that's all stuff you have to plan for. If it's a normal spring day, it's not normally a problem. But I've got very wet and very hot on judging visits, and that's fine. It's what we do. But you can sort that out on the day. And also think about the day, if you've got parks where you've got friends groups actually doing work, or schools group or gardening groups, it'll be great to have a chat with those on the day if they're available. And again, we'll just meet them in an area of the park where they're maintaining. There's no need for them to walk around with us all the time, but it's great just to see them and talk to them. And it helps give us understanding of how that park is being managed.
Oh, sorry, go on.
No, carry on, Jane, carry on.
I was going to say, you'll see us on the day either making notes or taking photographs. That's just to remind us. Usually when we're judging, we visit several parks. And it's also, so it just helps us when we get back to write the report up, just as an aid memoir of where we've been and what we thought. We'll also usually include some of those photographs in the report. So you can, it just helps us either emphasize the point we wanted to make, And so that don't worry if you sort of think, well, you know, we're not listening. We're just making notes at the same time.
It's also interesting to note, or important to note, your judges are trained. A lot of us work in the sector, so we are realistic in terms of what we see and the sort of problems. If there is a problem, don't panic. We can deal with that. If members of the public are aware that we're coming and they've got a couple of axes to grind against the council, the friends group, or whatever, we can deal with that. We can take them to one side. It's happened to them on a couple of occasions. It's not affecting the end result at all. It's just we'll manage that on the day as it happens. But don't panic about that. You've also got in front of you on the day one or two really experienced green place professionals. So it's for you to get the best out of that judging experience. If you've got problems, if you've got challenges, be open with them. You may find the judge has experienced similar problems and can actually assist you going forwards and give you ideas and suggestions to help resolve those problems. Judging is a two-way street. I've found over the years that every day is a school day, and we'll take away things possibly that you're doing as well that we've got challenges with. So a warts and all tour is the best sort of tour. Show the judges the problem areas. Ask the judges how they deal with it. What those ideas are. Because you'll be surprised the breadth of knowledge that's in front of you that can actually help you going forwards. That really is our USP for Green Flags, to be fair. That there's no other accreditation scheme where you can literally pick the brains of professionals, and really take something from that. Ultimately, show off your park. We're there, and we love being out on parks, believe you me. But it is your turn to shine. Show us why you're proud of your park. Really show it off, so we can see why you're so proud.
We really look forward to coming to visit, and I think that's something to remember. It can be quite nervous and or nerve-wracking, but try not to let it be. You're in your parks every day, you know them inside out, and you can show us sort of all of it, like Chris says, warts and all. We do understand that sometimes you might make a plan, to change an area or upgrade an area, and it doesn't always come off on time. We're realistic. We understand pressures of budgets and also how volunteer groups can get maybe a little bit carried away with what they're doing, or say they'll deliver something and they don't. We do get it. We understand. After the visit, if you've got one or two judges, they might spend a little bit after they've said goodbye, they might spend a little bit of extra time in your green space, and that's just so they can have a look around, maybe have a bit of a recap. If we've whizzed past a certain place, you might want to go back and have another look at that. It's not that we're trying to trip anyone up, it's just so we've got it fresh in our minds, because sometimes there isn't enough time to visit it all, and we understand that as well. And that's why you might want to think about how we're going to get around on the day. Try not to kill us is good. I once thought I was going to give a lady a heart attack when I took her up a hill, and it was too steep, because I'm also an applicant as well as a judge, and fortunately we had a bench halfway up and she could have a rest. So yeah, we'd like to come out of it alive, if that's all right. There is paperwork to fill in, and if you've got two judges, they might meet for a little bit afterwards, especially if they live a distance apart. It's better sort of to have a face-to-face conversation, so we might do that before we leave. So if you see us chatting at the end, don't panic about that. We're not plotting, we're just trying to sort of understand that our thoughts are on the same wavelength. We might ask you questions on the day. Well, we will ask you questions on the day. That's why we're there. One of the reasons we're there. And like Chris says, if you've got any questions for us, you just need to ask. All the judges are trained in sort of visiting parks, communities, sort of projects, crematoria, cemeteries, countryside sites. So there's a breadth of knowledge, and you feel free to ask. Was there anything else, Chris? Have I missed anything?
I think the thing to say is before we leave, we'll give you some informal feedback.
Oh, yeah. We can't tell you though, can we?
That will not be the result. Just put that clear. But it could be some feedback on the day, and it could be something. And I'll make something up. Great to see you park it, but we know we've not seen any risk assessments. I'll make it up. It's your time then. Say, didn't you see them? Fred had them around the corner. Sometimes with everything that's happening, things can be missed. So it's your time to shout up at that point and say, no, Chris, Fred had those. Did he not show you them? In which case, you can go back and revisit it. It is. It can be stressful. There's no reason to stress out, but there really isn't. It should be enjoyable, and actually, it should be enjoyable for you as applicants and us as the judge. It should be a very pleasurable experience for all concerned. I know a lot of managers that I speak to say it's great just to walk around sometimes with a total stranger as we are, and just let them talk about how proud they are of their park. They don't always get a chance to do that. So it is meant to be a pleasurable experience, and we want to walk away having learned about your park or green space or whatever it is. So we can go away and give a real true assessment.
If we have missed anything, you can send it to us, within the next day or so. It's not, that usually doesn't happen, but it's not unheard of.
Yeah, we may ask for it if there's something that there isn't there on the day for whatever reason. It could be there's a new map being produced or whatever, and it's just that the judging has happened 2 days before it's printed. It could be we just say, well, once it's printed, can we have a look, please? And I've known that happen several times where people have sent information or pictures of a big event that's coming up, and purely down to the judging date, we've missed it. And I've had pictures sent across saying, just so you know, this happened a weekend. We had 10,000 people there or whatever. It is useful. We do read the management plan in advance, and obviously that does give us a flavour of the site, and that's why we read in advance. That will spark a load of questions. It's not meant to be interrogation. It's more of a conversation as we walk around. But as Jane said, we will have to make notes because I always forget everything. So I have to make notes, take loads of pictures. And I think that's it. I think the other bit, I think we've covered it anyway. Contact details on the day is really important. Things do go wrong in British transport, especially on the trains. And I'd always stand there wondering where the hell's Chris? On a platform somewhere 3 miles away, possibly. I've known that happen. Anything else, Jane, you can think of?
No, I think we've covered anything. But we're really keen. If you've got a question, there isn't anything as silly question as such as a silly question. Feel free to pop it in the chat, and we'll try and answer it to the best of our ability. Really.
Shall we cover mystery shopping? Because that
could
be a question.
Different.
That could be a question.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's the same judges that were there. We're just in disguise, and you don't know we're coming. For those assessments, basically, unannounced, we will just turn up. We will not have seen the management plan. So we're basically seeing it as a member of the public. Like someone just walking in for a total first time into your green space and walking around doing an assessment based on what's in front of us. Now you may find that when you get that report back, you say, well, if they'd come 2 days later, it would have been different. There's nothing wrong in actually coming back to what the judges have picked up on those sort of events, because we won't have seen the management plan, we won't have seen an action plan, we won't even have seen the red line, of which, if you're a red line within a big green space, we won't necessarily have seen that. So it's not a problem to come back and say, well, that's all well and good, but that's not part of the park, or that's all well and good, but that piece of equipment was taken out the day after, and here's a picture of it. There's nothing wrong at all in that. And equally, when you get our reports, there's nothing wrong in saying, that's a great idea, Chris, to have an ice cream stand following you around, but it's not really practical, so we're not really going to do that.
Yeah. There is a chance for feedback, isn't there, Chris?
Correct. Yeah, judges will make suggestions, but you're managing your sites. You know what work on your sites, and some of our suggestions may not work for whatever reasons. It could be budget, could be whatever. So don't be afraid. So I'm sorry, Chris, you're not getting an ice cream all the time. It's not practical, and that's fine. Don't be afraid to say that. Come back to us. I think that's
In
about
one
it.
of my parks, I often get a comment of it would be lovely to have that fountain working, and you're right, it would be lovely, but I need £70,000 to refurbish it, and I just don't have the budget. So, you know, hopefully, if we get the budget, then I'll be able to do that, and everyone will be happy. But there is an opportunity. There's a form that sort of gives you a chance to comment on our feedback, and you know, please don't be afraid to say what you think. And also, you should also think about, or not think about, if you think on the day you've been treated unfairly, do you know that someone has been unpleasant or hasn't listened to what you're saying, or then you can let the green flag people know that you weren't happy with the visit that you get. And it's important to do that because we need to maintain the standard of judging. We aim for a very high standard, and we wouldn't want sort of anyone to be felt unfairly treated on the day. So please, if you do have an unfortunate visit, let Green Flag know.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is don't panic if something on the day happens. You know, I said it last time. You know, I once followed 50 caravans onto a country park, and the manager was panicking, saying you have to turn around, Chris. Can't do the drink today. I just turned 3 hours to get there, so I wasn't about to turn around. But equally, it's about management. So I said, well, what are you about to do? And they'd already called the gypsy liaison officer. They were providing bags for rubbish. They were just sorting out some toilets. So my simple answer was, so you're managing the situation. You know, it's real life. You know, things happen. Equally, I've been on parks where there's been a murder the day before. You know, so there's areas you can't get to. It's all fenced off. You know, things happen. The real world carries on, and we manage that process, whatever it is. So please don't worry if something happens in the morning. We can manage all those sort of things. Like I say, enjoy it.
Yeah.
Any questions? I suppose is the next bit.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Jane. That was brilliant. Yeah, and I think as Chris said, you know, don't panic. You know, we've all been in those situations. We've had people in the past who I've had people in the past who rung me up and said we'll need to cancel the judging visit because someone drove a car on and set fire to it overnight. We didn't cancel the judging visit, and actually the judges, one of the comments in the judges report was how impressed they were by the professionalism of the staff, how they managed that situation, how they'd informed the public, how they kept people safe. So actually sometimes a negative can turn into a positive for you because you're able to demonstrate your skills of dealing with particular situations when they arise. Right, I'm going to now endeavour, because there's clearly some problem with the system with Teams today. I'm going to endeavour to try and get the presentation back up and running.
Yeah, my camera still's not working, so apologies. It's not a bad thing. I
will ask my colleagues to tell. I will ask my colleagues to let me know whether it's back up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're back
it
on.
is.
Yeah.
Great. So thanks, Jane. So as I say, they don't need an ice cream, but there they are enjoying their ice creams. And I have to say, this is for those of you who don't know, this is actually my park, and I don't think I know whether I introduced myself when we started, because I'm Paul Todd, and I'm the manager of the Green Flag Award Programme, but also treasurer of my local friends group, and this was our friends group being judged for the very first time as an applicant. So I saw it from the other side, and you know that I asked our group what they thought afterwards, and they said it's the first time we've really spoken to people who know what they're talking about. So we hope everybody will experience that from our judges, that they are people who know what they're talking about, and we're here to help. You know, we're here to help, and our group got lots of great ideas from the judges that they're now implementing. So yeah, it should be that really positive process. So it's just some key points really, just to summarize. Agree a date as soon as you can, as Lorraine, everybody said, be as flexible as possible. It's always a problem if everybody says they want their judge in the last week of May, because remember, often our judges are applicants as well, so everybody's trying to fit in. Be as flexible as possible. You know, if your bedding isn't due to go until the end of May, that's fine, because that's the plan for the site. We wouldn't expect to come in at the end of March or the beginning of April and see your bedding in place, because your plan says it doesn't go until May. So we're coming and seeing things really. We're seeing things in the real world, aren't we? Have those documents available if needed, the judges have asked for, or you might want to just make sure you've got some copies, maybe play inspection reports, for example, and maybe some pictures of events, some things that you want to show off of things that happen on your site throughout the year. Decide who you'd like to meet the judges. And again, that can be done on the walk around, or you may, if you've got the facilities, you may decide to have a break and arrange for a cup of tea and coffee and invite some people along, for example, members of friends groups, and the judges can have a chat to them over a cup of tea or coffee. Plan your route, but don't be surprised if judges go off route and go to see the bits that you haven't planned for them to go and see, because they will go and see everything. And that's why we'd always say, on that route, celebrate your successes, show the judges the stuff you're doing really well, but really be open about challenges you face. I always say to people, we're here to help. We're not here to get in the way of you achieving a Green Flag Award. We're here to help you achieve Green Flag Award. And of course, the most important thing is making sure that people who enjoy your parks and green spaces are able to enjoy them. So we're here to help. So be really honest with us. As Chris said, only 2 or 3 to accompany judges, otherwise it gets really complicated for them to take in all the voices that are talking to them. If you have a room available at the end where judges can sit and confer, that's really handy as well, but again, not necessary. If it's really hot or it's freezing cold, water or a cup of tea is always nice, but again, not essential. Just if you can, you have the facilities. We will provide that informal feedback, and as Chris said, it's that opportunity where judges won't give the result, but will indicate some of the things they're going to recommend, and it's your opportunity to speak up, and do speak up if you think judges have misinterpreted something on the day. And be honest, be honest, we're here to help. And as Chris and Jane said as well, enjoy the visit. Hopefully it'll be an enjoyable visit for everybody involved, and a great opportunity for staff, volunteers and yourselves to show off the fantastic work that you do. Okay, I'm going to hand back to Lorraine, who's going to talk to you now just very briefly about what happens after we finish the judging and the judges have left your site.
I'm back.
No,
Sorry,
Lindsay's back.
Oh,
give me a heart attack then, Paul.
Sorry, can I just introduce Lindsay Pritchard? Sorry, I didn't see your name at the start, Lindsay, so I wasn't sure whether you were able to join us. And obviously, Lindsay Pritchard, many of you will also know Lindsay as well. Lindsay and Lorraine do an amazing job processing what actually is, and I don't think I've told anybody yet, we've got a record number of applications this year. We've got over 110 brand new applications, 110 more applications for the award than we had last year. So yeah, it's great, given it's our 30th anniversary. And Lindsay and Lorraine are the ones who are working hard behind the scenes, making it all happen. So over to Lindsay to explain what happens after your judging visit.
Yeah, sorry, I'm going to keep my camera off because it is working, but it seems to be interfering with my Wi-Fi, so I'll keep it off. So yeah, as Paul said, just to give you an idea of what's going on behind the scenes now, between now and the announcement date in July. We've now released the first lot of allocations, so hopefully some of you have been contacted by judges and can get a date booked in. Once the judges have been out, as Chris and Jane have said, they do compile a report, which is then sent back to us for us to review. So Lorraine and myself will start to be reading through the best part of 800 reports. And I'm pleased to say we currently have a couple that have already hit the portal, but please don't panic if you haven't even been made contact with the judges yet. Obviously, some are just on the ball a bit quicker than others. So once we've read through the reports, these will start to be released to you by the end of June. So we will then start packing and prepping for our national announcement to get the flags out to you. Once these reports hit your computers, this information, if it pass or fail, is under embargo until the 14th of July. So if you can just bear that in mind. Again, once the flags start to arrive, it will have this all over the flags under embargo until the 14th of July. Lorraine and myself will then start packing flags, and it's just done in-house manually. So we've got the best part of 1,800 flags to get sent out to you all. So if you could bear with us throughout June, if we can't make contact with you straight away, that would be really helpful. As I've just said, the national announcement is on the 14th of July, planned for the north of England. We'll also have award ceremonies in the Midlands and the South. So if you can keep an eye out for your email invitation to one of those events, that would be really good. And hopefully you can make one of the venues. Chris mentioned about mystery shops. Just to bear in mind that obviously we've got 800 sites that need fully judging before the national announcement, and the best part of 700 to 800 sites for mystery shops after the announcement. So the mystery shop sites are automatically included in the winners list on the 14th of July. And once we return from the award ceremonies, we will then start allocating judges out to come and view your sites for mystery shop visits. We do say it can take part at any point during the awards year, which is from July to July. But between myself, Lorraine, and the judges, we do aim to get them complete by the end of the year, so the end of 2026. And hopefully the majority done before the new application window will open in November this year. So, yeah, Chris mentioned that you can obviously comment on feedback from the reports, which can be done under section 6 when you submit your next application. And really, just to reiterate what everyone else has said, just to enjoy it. It's your chance to show off what you've got. You know, the opportunities are there, and to get feedback and get some understanding, really. So yeah, enjoy it. Thank you.
Thanks, Lindsay. That's great. Yeah, so we'll try and get those results out to people as quickly as possible. I'm going to ask you one thing, Lindsay, because I know it happens each year. Sometimes, and it has happened in the past, hasn't it, where someone contacted us at the end of June, 2 weeks before the announcement, and said, no one's been to visit my site. So if people haven't heard from judges by a particular date, should they contact us?
I think we're going to maybe suggest, if you've not been contacted by the Monday, the 21st of April, if you could let us know. But if you could also bear in mind, obviously we have 800 sites and judges do decline sites, so we are constantly reallocating. So we are literally trying our best to get judges out to you. But yeah, if you've not heard by the 21st of April, feel free to drop us a email and we will let you know the situation, and we can take it from there. But please don't leave it till the very last minute, because obviously then
otherwise we're scrabbling around trying to find a judge who's available, aren't we? So, but we will get the site judge, but obviously it does help the area, we know. So thanks, Lindsay. That's great. And obviously, you know, we're going to let you know whether you've been successful or not. And I know it's going to be disappointing. Some of you will not achieve Green Flag Award. And I know that's going to be terribly disappointing, but I would say think of it as an opportunity to improve. We're going to give you lots of advice and guidance on how to improve. If you think some of it's unclear, come back to us and we'll go back to the judges and ask for clarification. The other thing I think that's really important to know is we will never let anybody know whether the sites have applied. So that's clearly, that's between you and us. Obviously, we'll publicise sites that have been successful, but we'll never publicise sites that have been unsuccessful. And as you can imagine, some media outlets are quite keen to know who failed this year and who hasn't achieved Green Flag Award. But that's not something we will ever divulge. So if you have been unsuccessful, that result will only be known between you and us. So that's between the two of us, and it won't be publicised any further. So hopefully that gives you a bit of more confidence to put more sites in and not be worried about maybe adverse publicity if a site doesn't achieve it, because that isn't something we talk about.
It's also worth mentioning that, Paul, I think that with the advice you get, it is about supportive. So if you are unsuccessful, and I've revisited sites based on the comments I've got, and Jane knows this because I burst in tears at one of the year, and they actually put right everything that wasn't quite right, and actually their part goes from satisfactory to brilliant. As a judge, it's quite rewarding actually. That the comments you make are taken on board, and they can support you in terms of funding applications. They can support you in terms of arguing for funding within the council, and I've witnessed that many times over the years. So if you are unsuccessful, it's a process. It's about building blocks, and we're here to support you to see you come back in again, and then to eventually get you to be successful.
Yeah. And as we've all said, we're here to help, and if there's, and we know these reports often are used to secure funding and go up high within organisation. If there is a particular comment, or there is something you'd like us to raise in those reports, have the open conversation with the judges around if there will be any helpful comments we could put in the report that can help you secure additional funding for your sites. Then don't be frightened to have that conversation.
Paul, Jan has put in the chat a question about thresholds for the scoring against pass or amber, and she's asking, does green mean 100% compliance?
Does
green
on the mystery shop?
No, it's not.
So
I think it's just in scoring thresholds in general.
Yeah, no, for scoring for a green flag award, you have to meet an overall pass mark. It's 66%. So when you think on our scoring line, we use 7 is good. So what we are looking for is, we always say we're looking for good quality, well-managed parks. So we're looking for really everything on that park to be good. We accept that there are no park is going to be perfect. So there may be a few items that drop below that sort of average of a 7 mark. And of course, what's really important that as everybody's been saying on this webinar today, the things that need improvement are identified in your management plan, and there's a plan in place to either improve them, or there's a plan in place to try and secure funding to make those improvements. So no, I always say we're not looking for perfections. No such thing as a perfect park and green space. We are just looking for good quality, well-managed parks that meet the needs of the local community. Thanks, Jane. Yeah, and just going back to, if you are successful, again on the portal, you'll have certificates and posters which you can print off. Please use those around the site to publicise your success. There's marketing and publicity information there as well. And there's also a really handy document on there as well, which talks about different ways that you can publicize and promote your success. And of course, all the logos are there for you to use as well. So you have free, we get people using those on the bottom of email signatures, on uniforms, staff uniforms for people who work on the site. Feel free to use those logos where you see fit. The brand guidelines are all there, so you can make sure they're followed, and we're happy for you to use all of those, all of that publicity, all of those options for publicity. And also in the marketing publicity section, we'll also put a template press release as well for you to use to publicise your success and send out to local media. Then the last thing I really want to talk about is really flying your flag. It's really important. We do ask that all sites fly their flag. If you need guidance on flying flags, there's the web address, and we'll send this round to people with the answer for the Q&A. And the legislation was changed some years ago, that the Flag of the Green Flag Award or the Green Flag Community Award scheme can be flown on a part of a park or green space without the need for consent. So that was a change made to the legislation to allow you to fly that flag without having to seek consent. It's really important that flags flown. I know there will be some areas where the flags can't be flown. You know, flagpoles are not cheap things. So we would ask wherever possible if the flag can be displayed inside a building on the site or somewhere else, then that would be great. If not, we can provide plaques as well that can be displayed on site as well. So it just is really important that you shout about your Green Flag Award success. And of course, celebrate. You know, it's a great opportunity to celebrate. Please, every organisation that applies for the Green Flag Award will be sent, will be eligible to 2 tickets for one of our awards events. That's free. Please do come along. You'll be presented with a plaque, as you can see the ladies standing there who've done a great bit of recycling and made aprons out of their green flags from previous years. So yeah, please come along and enjoy us. Please celebrate. Please get as much publicity as you can in local papers with local politicians. Is always a great photograph to have. And of course, celebrate with the staff and the volunteers that have put in all the work to achieve the accreditation. So it's over to Q&A. And I'll stop sharing while we have the Q&A. So do we have any comments? Lorraine, Lindsay, are there any questions in the chat?
No, it doesn't appear to be. Nope.
No.
Everyone's ready for the judging visits. Everyone's ready for us.
What type of Chris? I think this is one for Chris, actually. What type of ice cream is preferred?
Mr. Whippy, vanilla. Double flake.
One or
Double
flake. 2 flakes. Yeah, I was going to say 1 or 2 flake, but I knew it was going to be double flake.
There's some pictures of some of them around on LinkedIn page somewhere, but there you go.
We will. We are just the other thing. We are. I should have mentioned on the publicity. We will be running a webinar as well for people who are successful shortly before. Once you've been notified of your results, so we're hoping to get our marketing manager to run a short webinar around opportunities and great ways to publicise your Green Flag Awards success. So we'll let you know when that's available. Hopefully, if you are successful, you can join that, and he'll be able to tell you some of the ways he's used and some of the ways that you may want to think of publicising your success. So it doesn't look as if I can't see any other questions.
No.
No, if there's no other questions, then again, I always think of a question after the webinar or wish I'd have asked. If you go to the website, you go to the Our Network section, you go to England on the Our Network section, what you'll find on there is all our contact details, our phone numbers and our email addresses. So please, if you have any questions at all throughout this whole process, do feel free to pick up the phone or drop us an email, and we'll hopefully get back to you as quickly as we can with an answer. Is there a copy? Yeah, we will send you a copy of the slides from the webinar, and there is we have recorded one of the webinars, so we will make that available to people as well. And we will probably, we'll probably load it up onto the portal as well. So it'll be there. We'll send you a link to it on the resource hub. So that's probably where we'll put it there, and then we'll send you the link through to the resource hub. Okay, well, thanks everybody. I think we're just coming up. We're about 4 minutes left. So if there's no other questions, we'll finish there. Can I just thank Chris and Jane for their support this afternoon and on the previous webinar, and obviously for Lindsay and Lorraine for their help as well. Thanks everybody, and good luck with your judging, and please enjoy it. Thanks very much.
Good luck, everyone.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.